Today, we're cracking open the official court file on a case out of Florida, State versus Kelli Lynch. And let me tell you, this thing was defined by critical errors and massive delays from the moment it started. It's a story about a legal case that was, well, built on quicksand.
Okay, let's get right into it. This slide is basically our roadmap for this entire explainer. It shows the two huge fractures that we're about to unpack. You've got the foundational failure of attorney malpractice right at the top, and then the systemic collapse that followed right below it. It's a perfect preview of just how completely a case can fall apart.
So the case against Kelli Lynch really started to unravel from the very second the official paperwork was filed. It all kicked off with her arrest on January 18, 2022. But as you're about to see, the paper trail itself created way more questions than it ever answered.
And the stakes here? They were incredibly high from day one. I mean, just look at these charges. We are talking about multiple, serious felonies. 2 of them are first degree. And that trafficking count, the second one on the list, that carried a mandatory minimum prison sentence. There was absolutely zero wiggle room on that one.
So, just 3 months after the arrest, the state attorney's office files this key document. It's called a Notice of Intent, and it was supposed to use business records as evidence. This should have been a foundational piece of their whole prosecution. Instead, it became the very first sign of a much, much deeper problem. Now, you have to see this to believe it. It's a really glaring error. On the left, you see the cover page, and yep, it's for Kelli Lynch's case. But the official, sworn certification on the right, the document that legally validates all the evidence, it's for a completely different defendant named Louise Holt. I'm not kidding. The prosecution's case was literally built using another person's file. So, with the state's case already on shaky ground, the focus now shifts over to the defense. An attorney, Jonathan Mills, was hired on June 3, 2022, and just a few days later, he was handed what you can only describe as the smoking gun, evidence that could have completely dismantled the most serious charge on that list.
Just 3 days. That's how fast this case-altering information was delivered. It wasn't buried deep in 1,000 pages of discovery. Nope, it was gift-wrapped and sent directly to the defense attorney's phone. A complete roadmap to getting that most serious charge thrown out.
And this is a quote from the actual text message, sent on June 6, 2022. It wasn't some vague tip. It explicitly says the trafficking can go away, and it gives the witness's name, Tara, her phone number, and explains that she held a valid prescription for the amphetamines. It was exculpatory evidence, completely spoon-fed.
So what do you do with a text message like that? Well, for any competent attorney, the playbook is incredibly simple. You follow these steps. You call the witness, you get the proof, and you file that motion. This isn't some complex high-level legal strategy. It's basic, day-one defense work. But that is not what happened here.
And that brings us to the story's first major climax. It's a critical bond hearing where the defense had the perfect chance to defeat the trafficking charge in person with the witness physically there and ready to go.
This is where that missed opportunity just becomes so painfully clear. I mean, this text message proves it. The key witness, Tara Weeks, wasn't just available by phone, she was physically present waiting right outside the courtroom door, ready to testify. So as you can see, the defense had a choice. Inside the court, they just presented testimony from the defendant, but waiting right outside in the hallway was the key witness, Tara, along with the actual prescription bottles and pharmacy records that could have disproven the whole trafficking charge. She was never called. So the crucial point here is that this failure had immediate, tangible consequences. Because that exculpatory evidence was totally ignored, the judge found probable cause for the trafficking charge, and he set the total bond at $17,000, which left Kelli Lynch detained. Now, you'd think that massive missed opportunity at the bond hearing wasn't just a one-off thing. Instead, it was actually the beginning of a long, frustrating period of total inaction. For over a year, the case and the evidence needed to fight it just sat there.
This timeline really says it all. Continuance after continuance. The case was repeatedly kicked down the road through 7 different trial settings. And get this, during this entire time, for nearly a year, court records showed that the defense took 0 depositions. The case was completely stalled out.
You can just feel the frustration in this text message, right? It was sent 7 months after the attorney was hired. The client's advocate is practically begging for a basic update, asking a simple question: have you scheduled depositions or anything? The answer, at this point, was still a resounding no.
So this year of neglect, it didn't go unnoticed. By April of 2023, the court's patience had totally run out.
The frustration was mounting from both the judge and the prosecutor. And it all led to an explosive and frankly stunning climax right there in the courtroom.
So after yet another request for a delay, with the defense blaming bad addresses for failed subpoenas, Judge Madrigal responded with this line, just dripping with sarcasm. He then denied the continuance, making it crystal clear that the excuses had all run out.
Well, this set the stage for a final confrontation just 1 week later. The pressure had reached a boiling point. So what happens when there's nowhere left to hide, and you're standing in front of a judge who has absolutely run out of patience? And there it is, the pivotal moment from the April 20th, 2023 hearing. When he was confronted in open court about all the discovery failures, attorney Jonathan Mills stood before the judge and admitted, on the record, "Yeah, I'll take fault for that." A total legal bombshell.
That one sentence, that open court confession, it changed absolutely everything. It called the integrity of the entire judicial process into question, and it raised a much larger issue about accountability when the system fails this completely.
This detailed timeline really gives us a powerful visual summary of everything we've just covered. You can see it all here, from Phase 1, the suppressed evidence back in June of 2022, through Phase 2, the phantom defense and a year of delays, all the way to the final chaos in the courtroom.
Yeah, the failure was so profound that even the judge acknowledged the process was just fundamentally broken. He saw the writing on the wall, stating there was now a built-in conflict. He knew that because the defense was so obviously deficient, any sentence was probably just going to be overturned on appeal anyway.
And all of this leaves us with this one final lingering question. This case file reveals these deep cracks in the very foundation of a prosecution, from simple clerical errors all the way to a phantom defense. It really makes you wonder, when a case is built on quicksand, who is ultimately responsible for making sure justice doesn't just sink right along with it?